Hey everybody, thanks for tuning back into another Merle on Time. Today I have a very exciting review. You saw from the thumbnail. This is my review of the C63 Sealander by Christopher Ward. They loaned this watch to the channel so that I could review it. I was contacted by a guy named Nell. Now in my unboxing video I called him Neil, and so I have to get that straight. Nell, I apologize for the mix-up. Thank you for sending this watch in. This is an absolutely beautiful watch, and it's a little unlike some of the watches I have reviewed because I'm mostly in the budget market. Watches that range from, under $100 to $500, usually at the most $500. This one is just a little north of $1,000. It's an absolute beautiful Swiss automatic watch. I really think you're gonna love it. So let's turn the camera around and have a look at it. So this is the watch, guys, and this thing is absolutely beautiful. I am really in love with this piece. Couple of things that I want to note that I think they need to at least make an adjustment on, if not with the model with this particular piece. But overall, I am very, very impressed with this thing. Before we get too specific about this one, what am I rocking today? Well, today I have on my Bulova Lunar Pilot chronograph watch, and this is the next one to be reviewed on the channel. This thing is absolutely amazing, and I highly recommend this one. And so let's get back to this Christopher Ward and just look at how crisp and how clean and beautiful that dial is, and those indices, how they really pick up the light. Very legible, really nicely done. I love this watch and super impressed with it. Let's just deal with the specifications at this time, and what we are dealing with, at least according to my measurements, is a case diameter of 39.3. On the website they call it a 39, and that's pretty much what it is. Thickness of 11.7 millimeters. You have a lug-to-lug of 45.9. I believe on the website it lists as 45.8. Really nice compact lug-to-lug. 20 millimeter lug width. This watch comes with 15 atmospheres of water resistance, and it comes with a Swiss automatic movement. And the Swiss movement that this watch is powered by is the Sellita SW200. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But for now, let's get up close and personal with this one. My video montage that I do when I review these watches, check this out. All right, I hope you enjoyed the footage there, and let's just go over some of the other specifications for this watch, some of the other added features that you get with this watch. We did the basic specs, but let's dig a little bit further into this watch. It's a Swiss automatic. It is Swiss made. You do have, as you can see under the automatic, maybe you can't quite see it, but we'll zoom in on the dial. Comes in with a water resistance of 15 ATM or 150 meters. So it is a great go anywhere, do anything for most people type of watch. It has a sapphire crystal which has anti-reflective coating covering the dial. It has applied indices on the dial, and as you saw from the footage, as well as even in this studio lighting, they really pick up on the light. And so this is a crisp, clean, super legible dial. You do have a screw down crown. It is signed with the Christopher Ward branding on the crown. The construction of the watch is all 316L surgical grade stainless steel. The case, the bracelet, the fixed bezel, the crown. It does have an exhibition screw down case back that highlights the Swiss movement that is in there, the SW200-1. With respect to the movement, I have been running this movement on my watch tracker app. I basically set it to the atomic clock, and I've been adding data points every day. And I can tell you that this movement is running very, very nicely at just under 3 seconds per day lost. And that's over a period of 7 days. I tracked it for 7 days. So absolutely wonderful how this movement is running. Standard timing tolerance for this particular Swiss automatic movement is -20 to +20 seconds per day. So the fact that this one is running at -2.9 seconds per day over the 7-day period that I have been timing it with the watch tracker app, it is just running excellent. And you can see that seconds hand is sweeping very nicely. This is a high beat automatic, 28,800 beats per hour or 8 ticks per second movement. So you have a beautiful sweep of that seconds hand. In fact, it is one of the smoothest sweeps of an automatic watch that I have seen, even the high beat automatics that I have. Beautiful sweep to that seconds hand, and it does have a 38-hour power reserve as well. We'll get to this dial in just a moment, which is absolutely gorgeous, crisp and clean. I love it. But let's take a moment to talk about the finishing on the case, which is absolutely beautifully done. You can see we have a nice satin finish on the brushing, which is horizontal there on the side profile of the case. It is sandwiched between some really nice chamfered edges that are high polished along the top of the profile and the bottom of the case as well. You get to the top with some nice vertical brushing that matches this bracelet, and you have some circular brushing around this fixed stainless steel bezel, and then there is a little bit of a chamfered edge to that top of the bezel or bottom of the bezel as well. It just gives this watch just a really nice look. I mean, have a look at that. You can see the crown is branded with the Christopher Ward branding, and it is a screwed down crown, and we'll get back to that in just a moment as well. Let's move on to the bracelet. Just has a beautiful satin finish on it as well. Vertical brushing throughout the top of the bracelet. The sides are also brushed as well. As you can see, push pins in to adjust the links. You come down to the clasp, and it does have, again, finish with brushing along the side. Nice chamfered edge that is polished along the top edge there. Christopher Ward branding engraved on the clasp. Double security pushers. It is a nice milled clasp with the Christopher Ward branding along there. And it also has a very nice micro adjust or dive extension, if you will, right there. And all you have to do is get your finger in there and push that back, and you get 4 levels of micro adjust on the clasp. Really well designed, well made, not bulky. Some of the clasps that I've seen with that kind of an extension, because of it, are really bulky, and this one is done very, very nice. The bracelet just clicks back in, 4 clicks, and you're good to go. So well done there. And another really nice feature of this bracelet is these quick release spring bars, so that you can switch out this bracelet and put this watch with a leather band if you want, or an FKM rubber band, or another bracelet. Very easy to switch out this bracelet. So let's take a look also at the finishing in the movement as well, and I'll just pop off one of the ends of the bracelet, and you can see how easy it is. You just squeeze and there it goes. And let's just take a look at this movement. Another feature of this watch that I appreciate is the decorated rotor and the branding on the rotor, and you can see the movement there. So they just really did a fantastic job on the case and finishing of this watch along with the bracelet. So let's take a closer look at this dial now. All right, and I wanted to get close up for this just to show you how beautiful this dial is. Christopher Ward branding. Now that is something that has been, a bit of a controversial thing, I suppose, but you know what? That's their brand, so why shouldn't it be on their watch? I don't mind Christopher Ward being printed on this watch at all. You can see it's got a minute track printed on the outer ring of the dial, and it is accented very nicely with these square red marks next to the batons every 5 minutes printed as well, along with the printed batons for the minute track. And look at the glitter off of those applied indices, the metal on them, almost like a mirror. And they consider this dial to be a lacquer, polished lacquer dial, and it just really catches. Look at those indices catching off the light there. Isn't that fantastic? Oh my goodness, that is absolutely beautiful. And you saw the outside shot. I love the tip of the seconds hand being in red. It gives this dial a little bit of flair as well, with the accents of red, 150 meters below the printed automatic as well, Swiss made printed on the 6 o'clock baton, a date window at the 6 o'clock, and we will talk about that in just a moment. You can see there is a slight beveled finish to the edge of that, but it is a colored match date wheel, and so that is nice. It just gives a nice symmetry to the dial as well. But this thing is just absolutely fantastic. And have a look at the Trident counterbalance on the seconds hand. Just some touches that are really, really fantastic on this dial. And the dial is fully loomed, and it is awesome lume. All of the indices are loomed. The hour and the minute hand are loomed as well. And I do love the bold and broad and short and stubby hour hand, and the nice minute hand that extends all the way to the markers there. They just really did a fantastic job with this dial, in my opinion, and I just love it. I just love it. Let's take a look at the lume, and then I want to talk about a couple of minor issues that I have noticed with this particular piece. So there is so much to love about this watch. You saw the lume there was absolutely fantastic, and it lasts all night long. But there are a couple of issues with the watch that I do want to address, and a bit of a caveat here. I did not get this watch brand new out of the box, and so I cannot say with certainty that the watch came with these issues. They could have developed over time as other people have been handling the watch. But the issues that I have are with the date wheel and with the crown engagement in action. So let's just begin with the date wheel, and we will start by unthreading the crown. It is a screw down crown, has hand winding and hacking ability, and obviously you can change the date with the crown as well. And so when you unthread the crown, you got to pull it out to the first position, and this is where I have found some issues with the crown. The first position is sometimes not very distinct and easy to find. I've been doing it now a couple of times, and I've went right to the second position to hack the movement. I believe it's in the first position now. So there's a bit of crown engagement issues there, but anyways, and I'm still not in first position there. It just kind of popped in. But let's just take a look at this date wheel. And as it rolls over into the tens, you can see that the number 1 is it's almost shrouded by the edge of the window there. And so when you view this from different angles from time to time, sometimes that 1 is just not distinguishable. And so, you know, is it the 5th or is it the 15th? Might not be showing it as well on camera, but I found that the 1 was just hugging the left-hand side of that date wheel a little bit too closely. It wasn't exactly centered, and I think you can see the difference there when it rolled over to the 20. Now, with respect to the crown engagement, there's no distinct pop when you unthread it to get to the hand winding position, and that click into the hand winding position, it's not very sharp or distinct. And when you pull it out to the second position, I'm just finding it a little bit tricky or tough to engage. You can see that the movement hacks so that you can adjust the time, set it to the atomic clock or your iPhone or whatever. Now, the issue that I have with the crown is this. Sometimes when I have threaded the crown back in, I shouldn't say thread it back in. Sometimes when I have unthread the crown and I go to wind it, it's winding now. But sometimes, not every time, but sometimes, and again, I have been, manipulating the crown, using the crown throughout the week just to see how it engages. There's every so often when it unwinds, it doesn't pop out to the hand winding position. It actually will start turning the date wheel. Even though you haven't pulled it out to that first position, sometimes once the crown unthreads and you go to wind it, it'll actually start turning the date wheel. I'm going to try one more time and see if I can demonstrate that on camera, but you just have to take my word for it if it doesn't do it this time. There's just sometimes when the crown comes out, there it goes. There it is, right there. So I unthread the crown. You saw that I did not pop it out to the first position, and it's not winding the movement. And in fact, when I go to pull it out, push it back in, it's still, and there you can see now it's wanting to thread back in, and that date wheel isn't quite right. And so there it's now hand winding. So there you go. So the crown engagement on this one, I gotta say it's a little bit faulty, and if I purchased this watch, I would definitely be contacting Christopher Ward and discussing having them kind of look at this issue and correct it, especially given the price of the watch. So we've got the date wheel between 10 and 19, a bit of an issue there with legibility. The 1 seems to kind of be hidden along the left-hand side of that date window, and this crown engagement. These are the only issues that I have found, but there's one more thing that I think you need to be aware about with regards to the warranty. I do have to say that if I have purchased this watch, I know based on all of the reviews that I have seen and the reputation of Christopher Ward that they would absolutely 100% take care of me. But there's one more thing about the warranty that I think you need to know about that probably a lot of people wouldn't have caught, and I'm going to explain that to you right now. So in the unboxing video of this watch, I showed you the warranty card that this comes with, and it does have a fantastic warranty that they call their 60/60 guarantee. So they guarantee their watch for 60 days. So if there's anything that you're unhappy about, for example, that crown that I was just dealing with, you can return the watch for a full refund within 60 days. That's absolutely fantastic. That might be something I would have done with this one and asked for a replacement, given the crown. And the other thing that you need to know about is the 60-month guarantee on the movement, okay? And so you can see here that it says 60 days to return your watch for a refund if you aren't completely satisfied with it, but for absolute peace of mind, its movement is also covered under warranty for 60 months or 5 years as well. Now there's a caveat to that, because listen guys, most of the time what do we do when we buy a watch? Do we actually read the manual that the watch comes with? How many times have you seen someone unbox a watch and they just go, oh, I don't need that, and throw it aside? Well, there is something very important in the owner's manual about that 60-month warranty that you do need to know about, and it is worth considering if you are going to make the purchase. And here it is. Let me just kind of find it here. And it's on page 15 of this, and I want you to see what this says in regards to the movement. We recommend you service your watch at intervals of 3 to 4 years to keep it in peak condition and to maintain your 60-month guarantee. If your watch develops an issue within 60 months of dispatch, we will first check its service history before progressing a repair. If you have not had your watch serviced at the recommended interval of 3 to 4 years, we will not cover the cost of the repair under warranty and will recommend a maintenance service in addition to any repair work due. Now, good for them for disclosing that information, but because I know that a lot of people would not have bothered to read this book like I did when I got the watch, that is something to consider before making this purchase. And this is what it looks like on my 7.5-inch wrist. And I mean, just look at the profile of it. Look at that beautiful satin finish, the brushing on the bracelet. Oh my goodness, this is gorgeous. Notwithstanding this crown issue, guys, value for dollar spent, this is a fantastic watch. So let me just give you my concluding remarks. So how would I summarize my experience with this Christopher Ward watch, and would I recommend that you purchase this one? Well, let me say this. I have researched other entry-level Swiss automatic and Swiss-made watches on the market, and this particular piece is on par price-wise with all of those other brands like Hamilton, Tissot, even other startup micro brands. And Christopher Ward isn't a startup micro brand. They've been going for 15 plus years, and they have developed and established an excellent reputation for customer service and reliability. And I have a real feeling that the crown issue that I had with this particular piece is unique to this particular watch and not something that you would find on other C63 Sealanders. And with their 60-day return the watch for a full refund guarantee, I have no hesitation whatsoever. In fact, there is a white dial version of this C63 Sealander that I am absolutely going to be putting my eyes on and potentially purchasing in the future. I absolutely love this watch. Let me know, guys, what you think of Christopher Ward as a brand. Let me know what you think of this particular watch. I think it's a stunner. And thank you so much for watching the video. If you've watched to this point, thanks and congratulations, you made it to the end. Hit subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and consider supporting the channel in that regard. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. That really helps, apparently. But most importantly, leave me a comment. That's really what I love most about doing this, is engaging with all of you who watch the videos and let me know what you think of the watches. And so please drop a comment below. Thank you so much for doing that. Remember, whenever you leave your house, you must have a great looking piece to wear on your wrist like this C63 Sealander automatic by Christopher Ward. And remember, wherever you're going, to get there on time. God bless everyone. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and we'll see you in the next one.